Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk to you about The Worst Witch, the 2017 Netflix series, Season 1, Episode 1, Selection Day. Now this is hour-long special. This was the very first Worst Witch I had ever seen in my life. And it's actually kind of funny how I discovered it. See, I was on Netflix many years ago because it came out in 2017, right? And so as I'm scrolling through, browsing through like the selections and everything, I see this is back in like the old days. So the thumbnail picture for this show was completely different than what it is now. Back then, it had Mildred, Maud, and Enid. Is that her name? Ingrid, or something like that. I forgot. It had them, but they looked like cartoons, and it was like their faces had like smut and dirt on it because the cauldron had like exploded, but it looked like a cartoon. I'm all like, I don't want to watch no cartoon. And so then I was researching called The Midwife, and they said the lead star Jessica Rain was supposed to be on the Worst Witch. I'm like, well, okay, I guess I'll check it out. Well, somebody had changed her Wikipedia page and they lied. So I ended up watching the whole series. I'm just like, where is Jessica at? But oddly enough, I end up loving this show to death. I love magical witchy type stuff. So this was up my alley. And this was just a fun, really cool, well thought out series and stuff. Like the CGI, my God, it is amazing for like this little kid show and stuff. And like the BBC and Netflix, they paid no expenses when it came to like the CGI on this show. So Ethel's pissed and she's all like, I demand like an investigation and everything. Like she is fuming because she doesn't like to fail because her family are high achievers and everything. So Millie finally decides to confess that she stole like some of the green leaf stuff. And that's when Ethel decides to let everybody know that Millie comes from a non-magical background family. Miss Cackle and Mrs. Harbroom are not pleased whatsoever. Miss Harbroom is the toughest one on her, talking about how, it's like, you're a disgrace, blah, blah, stuff like that. But Miss Cackle lets her know straight up that, you can't stay here and everything because, this is a place for like witches and stuff. But Millie is technically a witch because think about it, she was able to see Maud and everything else. So the thing about Miss Cackle's place is that during your first day, you have to take the written exam and you have to do like the magical thing. And so if you don't pass both tests, then you have to get kicked out of the school. So there's a couple of girls who have to leave with Millie, and Millie's upset and sad, and she doesn't want to leave, but she goes. When she's walking, she's just walking around the school for one last time, and she goes into like a room. And then all of a sudden, Miss Cackle is there, dressed all in pink and everything. And she's asking her, like, she tells her, like, she's upset and blah, blah. So Miss Cackle gives her her hanky and lets her cry into the handkerchief. And then Millie's all like, do you have any more candy? And she's all like, what are you talking about? And she's like, the candy you gave me before. So then Miss Cackle just like runs out of there and stuff. And so Millie just thinks that's kind of weird. Like she didn't know about the whole candy situation. So she follows her, and when she follows her, it turns out it's not Miss Cackle, it is Agatha, who had disguised herself as there. She is in the cafeteria. She kidnaps one of the, or imprisons one of the cafeteria ladies, puts her behind like a brick wall, and she casts some kind of spell. And in the spell, she needed the tears of a witch. Who couldn't get like what she wanted, something like that, who is Millie, of course. And so she's worried and she's upset because now everybody at the school is going to eat whatever this spell is and she don't know what it's going to do. So she runs into like the dining hall where everybody's at when Miss Cackle's giving a speech to the young girls. And when she bursts through the doors, this of course angers Mrs. Harbroom. So they teleport into another part of that same room. And she's all like, you have to believe me, and all this other stuff. But she's all like, Miss Cackle's talking, you do not interrupt, and blah, blah, blah. So then she's all like, but, something's bad gonna happen. And then so she teleports Millie outside and doesn't want to hear it. So, of course, the food is getting served. And nobody can eat until Miss Cackle can eat first. So Millie is just kind of like, she tried to warn everybody. They don't want her there. Maybe they deserve to get whatever punishment like that bad spell is going to do, right? And then so like she's by the pond and she's telling this to a frog, the same frog she met when she fell into the pond. Now the frog is just like a little puppet frog and a bad one at that. But this frog is very special. And I'll get into that in the rundown review because this, like I said, this frog is extremely special and everything. And so she's all like, and then the frog keeps pointing to a certain plant and she looks at it and she's all like, well, that's the plant I use for my levitation spell. And then she gets the idea, wait a minute, if I can't get back into the castle through the doors on the ground, I could fly through a window. So she finds conveniently every like herb and like leaf and stuff like that she needs to make her spell, but now she just needs a cauldron. Well, he points to like, a pot, like a flowering pot. So she puts the spell in that, and for some reason it's supposed to be blue, but when you look at it, it's not blue, it's just clear. So she drinks it, and it doesn't work at first. And what's ironic is that when she hovered the first time, levitated, everything was cool, but she didn't mix it correctly because it did not turn blue. Wham! This is when the most hilarious part happens. She skyrockets in the sky and she's zipping around, flying around, discombobulated. She's like going up and down and turning around, and it's hilarious. She's just a screaming and a hollering and everything. And so that goes on for a good couple of seconds, and it's the best couple of seconds in the entire entire episode. And then so everybody's getting ready to eat. Miss Cackle's finna take her first bite. But then one of the lady, I think Miss Nightshade, I think her name is, I can't remember. She takes a bite of her soup first by eating some bread and everything. Now the cat that likes Millie is also in the dining room because it got out again. And I think his name is Tabby. And so like, Millie's just constantly flying around outside, and we see Agatha spying on everybody, waiting for everybody to take the first bite. And then it happens. Millie busts through the window. And she lands smack dab on the table, still going from the momentum. So she slides through the table, knocking everybody's food over. She's like, sorry. I'm just like, yes, this is awesome. And then right before Mrs. Cockle's gonna eat, she's like, don't eat the soup. So then they want to know what's going on. And she tells them straight up, Agatha put like an evil spell on the soup. And then Agatha shows up, she's like, yeah, right. And she's, cause basically what the Agatha thing is, just like in the book, she wants the school. And she wants it from Miss Cackle because she was born like 13 minutes earlier, and she feels that that's not fair, and she wants the school. And so it turns out the lady I told you about, she stands up and she's all like, Agatha is like my master and all this other stuff. And then they realize she's under like some type of like brainwashing spell that's an obedience spell, and it's very strong. Pretty much when you're under the spell, you have to do exactly what the person who made it or made you take the first bite. No, wait. If you eat it and somebody gives you a command, you have to follow that person. And so they decide they're gonna have a witches duel for like the academy. So Mrs. Hartbroom places everybody behind like a force field type thing, except for Millie, of course. And so like she's hiding with the cat behind like a chair, and then they have like a witches duel. Now the witches duel is not that impressive. It's just they stand in one spot, they throw their hand and shoot a fireball out, and the other one deflects it, and it's constantly going back and forth like ping pong. I wish it could have been a whole lot better, but they're probably short on time and short on money and stuff. Because like I said before, the CGI in here is great. This is the first time in any of the worst witch shows, it looks like they're actually flying with like perfection, CGI wise, you know. So the visual effects are very great. So one of the fireballs hits the chair and it like disintegrates in front of like Millie. And Mrs. Hartbroom's all like, Mildred Hubble, you get over here. So she gets behind like the force field. But then all of a sudden something happens. Agatha wraps Mrs. Cackle in like one of the banners. So when she's gonna hit her with a spell, but then Mildred gets scared and runs in front of her and tells her to stop and everything. Well, what she didn't realize is that Miss Cackle had a protection spell barrier around her. And so no matter what happened, she wouldn't get hurt. So this causes Mildred to be taken hostage by like Miss Cackle and everything. So Miss Cackle had to like put down the spell, and Millie kind of like ruined that big time. So Agatha turns Miss Cackle into like a giant snail, and so she's gonna take over the school. Nobody's happy about this, but Miss Hartbroom has a plan because Agatha came to her early and talking about, you know, like pick a side and everything. So as she's talking, she's pretending to be on Agatha's side, and she keeps looking at Mildred and keeps like pointing at something with her head. So Mildred gets the like the hint that, oh, she wants her to use like the cat or whatever to knock over like the special like spell suit onto like Agatha. So that's what she does and everything. She like sneaks away. She gets her cat and tells the cat like to go. And so the cat jumps on like the cart and it rolls over to like Agatha. Being 60 something years old, she can't really move out the way really fast or teleport and stuff. So she gets hit with it and the soup spills all over her face. And so then she tells like the other ones, come on, let's jump her. She's on the ground. And then they're like, we can't do that. She's the new headmistress and everything, whether they like it or not. But when the stuff fell on her face, it went in her mouth. Now she's under her own spell, and Mildred gets to be like her master and everything. So she tells her straight up, relinquish like your command over the school and turn Miss Cackle back and everything. So then when Miss Cackle off screen, she takes away Agatha's powers, but Agatha doesn't know that yet because she was still under the spell. When she realized that, she is upset, and her mom is supposed to collect her. Now, Miss Harp, now the actress is 60 something years old, but these are witches, so they must be like immortal or something like that. And so they decide that they're gonna bring Mildred's mother to the castle and explain to her everything that's going on. And because they want Mildred to now stay since she saved the day and everything. She might be the worst witch, but she's the best one of them all. See? And so her mom doesn't believe in magic, even though she got teleported from her house to a castle and everything. And so they explain to her, this and that, and magical this and that. But of course, Miss Hartburn doesn't want her to stay longer than she has to, and she teleports her back to the house, or with Mildred and everything. But this is the thing: she doesn't know that Millie has to stay there because it's a boarding school. So she's upset and doesn't want her daughter to leave, but she feels this is the best thing because she's magically inclined and everything, and she should know who she is and stuff. So she gets to stay, and like her and Maud are very happy because now they're like best friends and everything. And so it's just like this series, even though it's slightly different from the original one, it's so fun and good. And trust me, when it starts to get dark and edgy, oh, it is good. Like, I love how they go into more detail about like magic and the plot lines that are like from the book and like the characters, because they really explore these characters in depth and everything. Not towards like the third season. That's when things get kind of confusing because they bring in like a bunch of new characters, like Ethel's little teeny tiny sister and everything, and then their group of friends, and it's just kind of like, wait, are the original cast gonna leave and the new one's gonna take over or something? But it's just like then it changes, of course, in the fourth, but it's still good in the fourth just because they got a new actress. Oh, she is amazing. That recasted Bella and stuff. So don't worry about that. But yeah, I was very sad to find out the series ended after the fourth season. I had no idea. And it was just sad and tragic. But this is a great series nonetheless. Alrighty. Well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.